Hello, I'm Rodney Pierce, Inventory and Equipment Supervisor. In our daily operations, we use a variety of ATVs. I want to talk to you a little bit today about preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance is key to the safe and reliable operation of your machine. We do all of our preventative maintenance in-house. Today we're going to talk about brake adjustment, maintenance, and inspection. Also front and rear differential inspection. A must-have is a model-specific service manual. This gives you the specs and information that you need to perform this accurately at home. For this specific model of machine, according to the service manual, you should inspect your brake components every 200 hours. Anytime we have a machine on the lift, whether it be for oil change or any other repair, this is an easy enough task that we just go through the brake inspection. On this model, the top cable would be your brake lever cable. The bottom cable would be your brake pedal cable. The wing nuts here is how you would adjust your free play. Also, we have a vent tube here for the brake backing plate. You want to make sure there's no cracks or leaks in it. That would allow moisture to get into your brake system and cause premature failure. This brake arm has a wear indicator plate. It has a little pointer on it. Anytime this pointer gets to the cast mark on the brake backing plate, it is time to change your brake shoes. On this particular machine, we've got plenty of brake pad left. We're not close to the mark. Another part of preventative maintenance on the rear brakes on this machine is the brake pedal free play. To check this free play, we'd take a ruler. What I've done here on my ruler is marked 15 and 20 millimeters. The spec is between 15 to 20 millimeters on this machine. What we would do is hold this scale at the edge of this pedal and see that our brakes begin to engage in that spec. This free play is important because if there's too much free play, then you're going to not have the brakes needed to stop this machine in the case of emergency or just in normal operation. Too little free play could cause the brakes to drag and you would have unneeded wear on your brake shoes. Another portion of the preventative maintenance on the rear brake system on this machine is the free play of the rear brake lever. We do this for the same reason that we check the free play on the rear brake pedal. The best way to do this is to take your scale, which is marked at 15 to 20 millimeters, and just activate the brake and ensure that the brake shoes are engaging in the spec. This spec comes from the service manual and will differ on machines. Another thing I would mention on the rear brake system is we would lube all pins and hinges with the recommended lube per the service manual. Preventative maintenance on the front brake system on this machine is fairly simple. It's mainly just inspection unless you have a problem. Front brake line, the front brake system on this machine is hydraulic. So it has a brake line that carries hydraulic fluid. You'll want to inspect it from one end to the other to make sure there's no wear spots or deterioration that you can see. And then you would move on down to these fittings, make sure there's no leaks. The front brake caliper, you would want to make sure it's free of debris so that it can slide like it is supposed to on the brake pins. While you're here, you want to look at your wear indicator. The wear indicator is a little metal L with a pointer on it. It references the casting on the brake caliper. Once they line up, that means your brake shoes on the front of this machine are worn out and need to be replaced. When performing preventative maintenance on the front brake system on this machine, there's a couple things we want to check. You know, it's a hydraulic brake system, so you'll want to pull on the lever and verify that there's a firm resistance there. Rule out the chance that there might be air in the system or whatever. If it is soft, then you will want to look for leaks to find where the air's at and then bleed the system. But the just inspection and preventative maintenance part of it would be just a feel of it, make sure that it's good, which this one is, and then check around the reservoir and the brake handle for leaks. Make sure that we don't have any fluid leaking. And then the inspection glass, you want to turn the handlebars to where your reservoir is level and make sure the fluid level is correct in the inspection glass. If the fluid level is low, you would want to check your brake pads for wear, because that's a good indicator that they are worn out. The fluid in this hydraulic system forces a piston out in the brake caliper, and as that piston goes out, the fluid travels down the system, which gives you a low fluid level if you have excessive brake pad wear. This machine here, the brake fluid is full. In the event you were to add brake fluid to this machine, you always want to verify in your service manual of the correct type, because brake fluids don't mix well. This machine has .4, some will have a .5, possibly older machines, maybe a .3. Verify that in your service manual before adding fluid. Anytime we have these machines in for our 100-hour service, we go ahead and check our rear gear case here for any leaks. The service manual for this machine recommends inspection of differential oil at 200 hours. Anytime we have one in for an oil change, we inspect the differential oil level. Checking this oil level is very simple. You remove this oil fill screw. If oil comes out, your oil level is correct, which it does. Then you reinstall the screw and torque it to the manual specs. We'd actually put an inch-pound torque wrench on this and get it to the spec of the manual. When performing preventative maintenance on the front differential on this machine, it's always a good idea to look at your inner and outer boots on your front axle shafts. Make sure there's no tears or cuts that would allow debris or moisture in there, cause you an expensive repair in the long run. Another thing to check is the seals on this front differential, both sides where the axles go into the differential, and then also where your pinion shaft comes out of the differential. And the fluid level is very important, and to check the fluid level on this specific model, you remove the fill plug, and the fluid level should be right at the base of the threads that are in the casting here, which it is, so our fluid level is correct. And then reinstall our cap. And of course, torque per our manual specs. The procedures we discussed today are just a couple of procedures we do every time we bring a machine in for its service interval of 100 hours, so when we change the oil in our ATVs. These procedures ensure us a safe and reliable machine to use in our daily operation.